Okay, so let's start with doing the AI for the standard character controller. So I'm going to just drop in the prefab for the AI, which if you go into your third person character folder, you have this prefabs, and there's a third person controller, which is the one that's controlled by a player, and then there's the AI version. So make sure you grab the AI version for this, and that's what I've got in here. I've got this AI third person controller. Then I'm going to grab a character for the AI, and I'm going to drag it so it's underneath the hierarchy of the third person controller. And then make sure I reset the transform of the character so that she is standing underneath Ethan. Cool, she's in the same place as Ethan is. So now I need to swap out the information on the third person controller that points to Ethan to have it point at my character instead. So looking at my character, okay, I know that she has her own avatar, which is the MCS female avatar. And if you don't know what your character's avatar is you can select the prefab of your character, punch the fly out, and hopefully find it. It wasn't there on mine, but I knew where it was. And then after you've got that, go ahead and delete out all the other stuff. So I'm just making sure here that, okay, the navmesh agent, which is the agent that will control the character moving around, is in the right place. It looks a little tall. A little bit big too in the radius. Alright. So looking at Ethan, seeing if Ethan's got any special components. Nope, he's just got a skin mesh renderer, glasses, okay, skeleton. Alright. Goodbye, Ethan. Yes. Alright. Now where's my main camera? Nowhere handy. It's typical of Unity. Alright, just going to hit play and see that the animations are working. Yep, okay. She has nowhere to go, so she's kind of flying off into a random direction there. This AI control script right here does not have anything on it, so it doesn't know what to do or where to go. So that's not terribly surprising. Looks like her feet are a little bit under the world too. Pull that up a bit. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make some waypoints. Just do some spheres for waypoints. And I don't think these really have to be entirely on the ground, but it certainly helps. So go ahead and make a few of these. And place them around your level. And remember, be prepared for this to break things. And try moving your waypoints first before you start tweaking things for a long amount of time. Some of you guys have a tendency to get sidetracked on stuff that's not really that important. Alright. That is a lot of waypoints. In fact, let's go ahead and make a tag for these. Oh, I already got one. Alright, so I've got all those spheres laying around. So let's see about getting her to walk around to those spheres. So make an FSM, Playmaker FSM. We'll call it movement control, because we are going to extend this in later lessons to cover things besides just pathing back and forth. But that's the first behavior we're going to put in, is the pathing. All right, so let's save the initialized state. Add a state. So the first thing we want to do after coming out of initialization is we want to find a waypoint. So let's go ahead and call that find waypoint. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention is that you're going to want to go to ecosystem and search for pathfinding and get this right here, get this package. I've already got it installed, so I'm not going to install it, but you guys should be familiar with this at this point. So what I want to do is I want to find one of these spheres, one of these waypoints. We're going to use a new type of variable for this. We're going to use something called an array. And this is going to let us store all of our spheres in one variable, which is going to be really nice. So let's call it waypoints, and its type is array, add, and then the array type, we want to make it not an enumerator, we want to make it a game object. And the size is going to be 15. So remember it's it's 15. So, and let's expose that to the inspector. So once you've got that, you can just start dragging your spheres in one at a time. Hope you didn't make too many spheres. If you did, delete some. Even 15 seems like a lot, but it gives us a lot to work with. The arrays are new to Playmaker. They're not as fully developed as some of the other variables. I was looking for a action to find objects by tag and then add them to an array, and there was nothing for that, unfortunately, at this point. So if that continues to be the case, maybe we could talk about doing a lesson on how to write a custom Playmaker action to do something like that. Alright, so we have all of our spheres in these waypoints, in this waypoint variable. So the next thing to do is to actually grab one of these guys. So I'm just going to go up here and let's search under array. Array get next. Each time this action is called through, gets the next item in an array. Cool. That sounds like what I want. My array is waypoints. So you can see here in this array it says it's like sphere 1, sphere 2, blah, blah, blah. So what this should do is each time we enter this action gets called. Where did that go? Alright, there it is. Each time this action gets called, it will go to the next element in the array. So when we first come in here, it should grab element 0 and then go on to the next thing. And then when it comes back, because remember we're going to loop through this. When it comes back through, it should come back and get the next element in the array each and every time. And so let's see here. If you let your cursor hover over these things, it will tell you what they do and some special information. So that's looking for an integer, and it's where to start the iteration. So we want to leave it at 0 to start from the beginning, and if you leave that at 0, it iterates all the way through until the end. We want to store the result in a variable. We'll call that the waypoint. And now we want to get, So if you look here on this AI character control, there's this field for a target. Let's take a look at the script real quick and see if we can learn anything about that. So don't worry, we're not going to do any changes in here. I just want to look at this script and learn more about this target, okay? So one thing that you will need to do if you want to be a game designer is you will need to, at the very least, learn how to open up a script and read it and get an idea of what it's doing. So we're looking for target. All right, up here we have a transform variable called target, okay? And public means it's been exposed, so we can see it in the inspector. All right, so that says it's the target to aim for. And these little slashes right here and then the green text, those are comments. Those are just to tell you what the code does, but they don't get compiled into the final code. All right, so that's basically where we want our waypoints to go, is because we want our agent to walk towards these waypoints. Oh, another very important thing to note is when we use that prefab from the third-person controller, is it has this nav mesh agent on it, which is great. This is something that we can add manually here, just by typing agent, and there it is right there. But it's already got that for us, and this agent is what allows the character to know about the navigation mesh, right? So this navigation mesh is required, and this nav mesh agent is required in order to make the character walk. Okay, so back to getting this target filled up. So this is looking for something called a transform, and it says that in parentheses right there, transform. So let's look in here, and I've already got it up there because I did a test run on it's in my recents, but if you just type transform or trans or whatever, we want to get the transform. Aha, it's under game object. So it's not under transform, but it's under game object. We want to get the transform. And if we scroll up here to the top in our inspector, we see that the transform is literally a component. All right. Yep, you can't add that. It looks like it's a component that just happens naturally. All right, so this is what we want. We want to pull this information into a variable. So let's add this action. The game object we want to get the transform from is the waypoint, and we want to store the transform in a new variable called waypoint xform. Did not save it. New variable. Oh, weird. There's a problem here. What's the error? I'm going to rename this for clarity. Sorry, it's late. My eyes are kind of... All right. Why is it not storing that? Let's see if it fills it out when I hit play. It is not. got the stored waypoint, but it's not pulling the transform. That is bizarre. All right, let's go to. All right, so I'm going to, in order to get access to this target and set it, I'm going to just click this text here and drag it into the Playmaker window, and I get the option to get property or set property. We want to set the property of the target. Move that to the bottom, and the property we want to set is the transform. So we go down here to target, transform. And the value that we want to set it to, oops, new variable, xform, and those are not showing up. They're of type object variable. Xform, just leave it like that, maybe. No. Does not show up. Alright, I'm going to pause it, figure it out, and be right back. Okay, I figured it out. This is annoying. So, click on the store transform, new variable, name it xform, does not show up. Go to variables, select xform. Make sure you have lots of room to scroll, so you're going to need it. Where it says object type, open that up. You get this big scroll window here. You want to go to type U. Hold on. We're looking for Unity Engine. Then scroll down again, and now we're looking for transform. See right there, there's object. That's the kind that we currently have. We want to go down here to transform. All right. So select xform. It is a type transform. Go back to the state, and it stores the transform as xform. Excellent. And now we can also set the, I'll do this step again so that that's clear. So just click and drag from the AI control script into the Playmaker window for the state on find waypoint. We want to set the property. All right, put it at the top. We want it at the bottom. So we want to do that after we've gotten the transform. And we want to set it to set target transform to xform, which is the transform we're getting up here. So to be clear, what's going on in this state is we have an array that contains all the waypoints right here. That's what all this is. This is an array. So we have all the spheres being contained in one variable. And we're getting the first sphere in the list. We're getting the transform component off that first sphere in the list, which is this thing right here. And we're applying the values from the transform into the target field of this script. And this script can be found in your Unity standard assets. AI character, person character, user control, all that stuff there. It's in one of there. It's in case you need to make something by hand, but you really shouldn't need to. You should be able to go from the prefab. So now, when I push play, the character should walk to sphere 1. Eventually. I hope. It's doing something. Something crashed. Oh, okay. Something funny happened there. Not sure what that was. Let's try it again. Why is it having such a hard time finding this transform? Okay. There's something going on there. You see that? The agent is there. The skeleton is there. The character is who knows where. See if we can figure out what's going on there. Okay. We've got a rigid body and a capsule collider on the character itself, so I'm going to take those off. Yep, we had rigid body and capsule collider on there as well, which they were probably fighting and having a difficult time of it, deciding who was right. Alright. That's better, sort of. So, she is skating around. Kind of funny. I'm going to drop my character in from hello. Just so I can run around. And get rid of that camera. Put in that camera. Those post effects are really out of balance for this level. Let's see if this works. Yep, cool. Alright, so she looks like she's skating around. Which, whatever. What happened there? Wow, she actually did a kick there. I wonder what animation controller she was using that she would respond like that. Alright. So let's not worry about how funny she looks while she's going to the first point. Let's get her to go from the first point to the next point. So let's go ahead and make the state. And let's do a next frame event. So we just need to transition out of it once we've got that point down. Do a new event, walk to point. Okay, now there's some nav mesh agent actions that I want to show you. I'm not sure they're going to work. I think they're bugged, so they're not exactly working as ideally as they should be. Let's call it walk to destination. So if we go up here to our NavMesh agent category, we want to get remaining distance. Get agent remaining distance, this right here. So what this does is this samples the path. So just in your mind, imagine that there's like a little path going from where the character is to the first waypoint, to the next waypoint, right? So we go from here to here. Once we get to this point, we can call events. We can actually call events all along the path and have events happen on the path. We can edit the path. There's a lot of things we can do. We're not going to worry about that, but just know that this is pretty robust. You can do a lot of things with the path here. So we want to get the remaining distance for the owner. We want to store the result in a new variable. We want to do this every frame. And we want to send an arrived event. So once our AI gets to the waypoint, we want to go back and get the next waypoint in the list from the array and walk to it. So do a new event, get next point, next waypoint, add that transition, and then we just want to go back to there. Okay? Let's see if this works. I've got my doubts. It sort of worked for the first one. So she's skating around 2. But not good enough. Let's turn off auto braking. What's the speed set to? 1. Okay, okay. Wow, she's moving really strangely. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to sort of get our own arrived event. So we want to find out if we're getting a distance, right? So we're getting the remaining distance left. If we do a float compare, okay, so I've already got it there, but I believe it's under logic. Yeah, it's under logic right here. Float compare between the remaining distance. Remember, floats are fractional numbers. So the remaining distance and 0, and we'll give it a small tolerance, like 0.2-ish. Right? So if the remaining distance is equal to 0, let's get the next waypoint. If the remaining distance is less than 0, which it won't be, let's get the next waypoint. We're just doing that to cover our butts. And do that every frame. All right, so she's not really getting that close. Decrease the stopping distance. Wonder why she's having such a hard time. All right. Just checking to see if the anything is looking kind of funky. going to give it a little more leeway on the tolerance here. It's only at 0.21. I'll actually bump that up to like 2. So if we looked here, and it was basically like she was getting within 2. All right. So that sort of fixed her. Where'd she go? She's running all over the place, which is great. Is what we want. Where the hell did she go? So if you select your object and you press F twice, that will have the camera follow him. Oh wow, she's jumping and stuff. Cool. So yep, you see her, she's running around. Crazy rates of speed. Pretty cool. Okay, that's when she's sliding like that, is because she jumps. And she's trying to jump up there right now. And she got stuck. Alright. I'm going to reduce her movement speed a little bit. See if that helps the situation. Sort of. Jump. Wow. Wow. So yeah, she tried to jump up to that waypoint is what that was. Alright, I'm gonna give her a little more jump power. That might be asking for trouble, but let's see what happens. It's kind of fun. Nope, got stuck. Alright, let's take a look at the nav mesh. And see, I'm breaking my own rule instead of just moving the navigation point. Okay, here we go. So, she wants to get up there. Let's select the plane, all the cubes and sphere. Or not the sphere, is just that and the cubes. Generate the off mesh links. Bake. That should help her with her jumping. In theory. Aha. So there's no jump distance and no drop height. So you can tell them how far they can drop. Let's say you can drop 10, jump 7. What's in an advanced? Oh yeah, that's for doing the 3-dimensional. You can do a height mesh too. Makes more of a tet. Alright, cool, there you go. Now we've got jump mesh links. Maybe she'll jump now. That's what those little circles are. Kinda neat. So yeah, play with this stuff. It's not too hard. Yeah, once you get the basic of her running around, or your character, whoever it is, running around. Yep. Boom. Jump. What happened? Character wound up under the world, it looks like, or inside of a box. But yeah, once you get things figured out a little bit, feel free to play with it and tune it. But get it to the point where things are, you're at least moving between waypoints before you jump into making it all fine-tuned and everything. And if you guys get this far and get this figured out, maybe I'll do another video for Wednesday on tuning it a bit. But you guys got to get this basic level of it's working done as soon as you can, all right?